Hello there, I'm Nakia Bashiruddin and you're watching Nightline. The headlines. 800,000 Malaysians to enjoy 4 benefits under PK B40. And senior citizens die while rushing for free meal coupons. Welcome. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has denied the authenticity of a letter stating the government's confirmation that the East Coast Rail Link ECRL project is cancelled. He also urged the public to be patient and wait for an official announcement by Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng on the matter.
Official lah.
Dia letterhead government.
Letterhead government kita tak boleh lah ni, semua orang boleh ambil government punya letter, potong buat letterhead. That is not official.
On the contradictory statements released from his cabinet members, Tun Dr. Mahathir admitted that there had been mistakes. He said that people make mistakes sometimes and the people should understand that this is a new government. Tun Dr. Mahathir also said that the number of mistakes made is not many, but people notice them very much because it is a new government. It was reported on Sunday that 2 senior ministers seemed to be at odds with each other over the 81 billion ringgit project. Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali said the cabinet had decided on Thursday to cancel the project, but Lim said later that he was shocked by the announcement. Lim also confirmed that an official statement on the matter will be issued this week. The Health Ministry on Monday launched a healthcare scheme for the B40 group that will be implemented in March. The scheme, known as PK B40, covers the cost of living aid BSH recipients and their spouses aged 50 and above. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the scheme emphasizes the early detection of non-infectious diseases, which are more frequent in the B40 community with their increase in age.
But we're giving the 50 ini karena kita tahu age punya disease are age related. As we get older, we get to get more diseases, ya, umpamanya particularly cancer, diabetes dan hypertension yang lain.
Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli said the PK B40 with 4 benefits, health screening, medical aid equipment, complement cancer treatment incentives and transportation fare incentives will cater to 800,000 recipients. He added that the ministry will work with private clinics and laboratories that are interested in conducting health screenings. Interested clinics can register at the PK B40 website. PK B40 is managed by a government company, Protect Health Corporation Sdn Bhd, which was established as a non-profit company under the ministry. On January 24th, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad launched a national insurance protection scheme for the lower income group, namely My Salam. The My Salam insurance scheme covers BSH recipients between the ages of 18 and 55. 2 elderly women died while waiting for free meal vouchers, among hundreds others, at a shopping mall in Pudu, Kuala Lumpur on Monday. Police said another 6 people were unconscious after collapsing at the mall in the 12:04 p.m. incident. The victims were identified as 85-year-old Ah Po and Law Eon Nang, age 78. Dangwangi District Police Chief ACP Shaharuddin Abdullah said the food coupon handout was part of the mall's Chinese New Year charity program aimed at elderly people. He said that the organizer had prepared 200 coupons, but over 1,000 people turned up at the mall. He added the victims were believed to have died of suffocation while waiting for their turn to get the coupons. Shaharuddin said initial checks by the police revealed no foul play or criminal element was involved. Their bodies were brought to Hospital Kuala Lumpur for a post-mortem. In Selangor, a husband and wife, both working at the National Registration Department, were killed in a fire at their house at Taman Desa Vista in Bandar Baru, Salat Tinggi, Sepang on Monday. KLIA Fire Chief Khairuddin Jamaluddin said a team of firefighters were sent to the location after receiving a distress call at 1:14 p.m. and put out the fire not long after. The blaze was concentrated in the master bedroom, where the firemen found the 28-year-old woman lying on the bed while her husband was inside the bathroom. Both victims were no longer breathing when they were found, with the woman suffering burns on her face. The cause of the fire is still being investigated. 30 people were left with only the clothes on their backs when 10 units of the Lengko Abdullah KTMB quarters in Bangsa Utama, Kuala Lumpur were gutted in a fire on Monday. 11 cars and 6 motorcycles parked in a communal garage were also destroyed. Fortunately, no casualty was reported in the morning blaze. A total of 65 fighters from the Pantai, Hang Tuah, Setapak, Seputeh, Tamanton and Sentul fire stations were rushed to the scene and put the fire under control after about 10 minutes. It is learned that 8 people were in their units when the fire began, but all managed to escape unharmed. The cause of the fire and losses were still being investigated. Meanwhile, KTM Berhad will distribute 3,000 ringgit to each victim as early financial aid. The victims were mostly train drivers and maintenance workers of KTMB and their families.
Alhamdulillah kita dah dapat pesan semua adik-adik keluarga semua tak ada yang kedua sebagai saya nyatakan yang penting adalah untuk membantu mereka untuk dapatkan tempat dan bantuan orang itu adalah yang penting.
The victims will be temporarily placed at the surau while KTMB searches for available accommodation for them. Meanwhile, Federal Territories Minister Khalid Abdul Samad had promised to provide immediate assistance to the victims of the fire at the KTMB quarters in Bangsa Utama.
Kita difahamkan bahawa yang ada di sini 2 keluarga, 2 unit rumah keluarga dan yang lain semua bujang ada dalam 8. So yang keluarga tu insya-Allah KTMB akan uruskan untuk disediakan rumah lah untuk mereka untuk hari ini juga. Yang bujang yang 8 tu diorang semua berada di surau sekarang ni, mungkin kalau dapat malam ni 1-2 ke, tapi insya-Allah kalau ini pun besok ataupun lusa dapat selesai semua lah insya-Allah.
The minister, who rushed to the scene after he was notified on the incident, had also ordered the Kuala Lumpur City Hall, DBKL, and the Federal Territories Foundation to channel aid to the affected victims. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun wants action to be taken against police officers who violate the smoking bans at restaurants. He said such an act by the policeman is seen as unethical and is unacceptable.
Tanda melarang daripada merokok itu perlu dipatuhi oleh semua pihak, termasuk pegawai dan anggota PDRM, terutama mereka yang beruniform. Jadi amat tidak beretika lah mereka melanggar perbuatan yang memang tak boleh dilakukan di tempat terbuka pada ketika ini.
He said this after a video made rounds on the internet over the weekend, garnering tens of thousands of views, showcasing a policeman smoking despite sitting right next to a pillar with a no smoking sign stuck on it. He added that the police will conduct an investigation where appropriate action will be taken against police personnel. The government has enforced a no smoking ruling in restaurants nationwide since January 1st. Education Minister Dr. Mazli Malay on Monday has rubbished claims that his ministry had reduced the allocation for meals at fully residential schools, or SBP. He said the claim made by former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak was baseless and slanderous.
Dan saya mengharapkan supaya Datuk Sri Najib melakukan homework sebelum membuat kenyataan. Dan lebih baik lagi, saya menawarkan supaya beliau mengambil waktu mengajar di kawasan pedalaman sebagai untuk menebus dosa beliau yang lepas. Dan saya yakin banyak beliau boleh ajarkan, tetapi jangan ajar mencuri duit rakyat.
Speaking to the media at SMK Sultan Abdul Jalil in Kluang, Johor on Monday, he said the ministry will issue an official statement on the matter later. Datuk Sri Najib earlier said that the SBP daily meal allocation had been reduced to 14 ringgit and 50 cent from 18 ringgit. The Election Commission has lodged a police report against Pakatan Harapan's M. Manogaran for entering a voting centre while wearing a shirt bearing the coalition's logo during the recent Cameron Highlands by-election. In a statement on Monday, the EC said that this contravened the Election Offences Act 1954, and a report had been lodged at the Sungai Koyan police station over the matter by its officer in charge of the voting centre in SK Senderot. The EC added that it had also lodged a report over the setting up of booths by political parties on polling day. On Saturday, Manogaran was asked to leave the polling centre following his violation. He has since apologized for the issue, however, explained that he did not realize he was still wearing the party shirt, which he used to wear throughout the week campaign. The by-election saw DAP's Manogaran defeated by Barisan Nasional's direct candidate, former Orang Asli police officer Ramli Muhammad Noor, by a margin of over 3,000 votes. Coming up after the break, mentally ill man drowns after jumping off bridge. Stay with us. Welcome back. 6 main areas with 115 initiatives. These are the main elements of the National Anti-Corruption Plan 2019 to 2023, or NACP, which will be launched by Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad on Tuesday. According to National Centre for Governance, Integrity and Anti-Corruption, GIACC's Deputy Director General, Datuk Dr. Anis Yusal Yusof, the 5-year plan is aimed to fully address governance, integrity and corruption issues.
Plan ini adalah plan yang bukan untuk hari ini saja, juga untuk masa depan. Kita nak tahu juga bagaimana kita nak memerangi rasuah pada masa akan datang. Sebab cara rasuah berlaku sekarang lebih sophisticated daripada zaman lampau.
Datuk Dr. Anis also stressed that from the 6 main areas, political governance, public sector administration, public procurement, legal and judicial, law enforcement, as well as corporate governance, 115 initiatives have been produced and will be implemented by government agencies and relevant bodies under the GIACC's supervision. The NACP also took into account the report submitted by the review committee appointed by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC. The report is related to what needs to be done and becomes the basis for the plan. Malaysia will not challenge the International Paralympic Committee IPC's decision to nullify the hosting contract for the World Para-Swimming Championship 2019. Paralympic Council of Malaysia PCM President SM Nasaruddin SM Nasimuddin said the council would also adhere to any decision made by the government on the issue. In a statement on Monday, he said PCM and other stakeholders took all necessary steps from the beginning to host the championships and would respect the governing board's decision based on its rights, while also abiding by any decision of the federal government. He said this after the IPC on Sunday announced its decision to strip Malaysia of the right to host the international sports event. Its president, Andrew Parsons, said all world championships must be open to all eligible athletes and nations to compete safely and free from discrimination. As a result of the board's decision, Parsons revealed that the committee was looking for a new host for the World Championships, which acts as a qualifier for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. Earlier this month, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad stressed that Israeli citizens, including athletes, should not come to Malaysia as the country does not have diplomatic relations with Israel. He also said Malaysia had the right to keep its border closed to certain people, especially from countries the nation feels are doing a lot of wrong things. The government does not see the need for a constitutional court, as constitutional issues are within the purview of the federal court. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Liew View Keong, said the federal court is already sufficient with judges who are able to preside over constitutional issues.
Keperluannya saya rasa pihak mahkamah bolehlah memberikan cadangan kepada kita, tetapi buat setakat ini saya tidak ada lihat keperluannya lah ya untuk mengadakan constitutional court ini, memandangkan kita punya mahkamah terutamanya untuk mengendali isu-isu perlembagaan ini kita bolehlah dikendali oleh Mahkamah Persekutuan yang tertinggi sekali untuk mengendali isu-isu perlembagaan. Pasal di Mahkamah Persekutuan ini akan diduduki dengan 7 hakim sekiranya dia terlibat dengan isu konstitusional yang amat penting kepada negara.
Datuk Liu was speaking to the media after paying an official visit to the Legal Aid Department of Malaysia branch in Ipoh, Perak on Monday. On Sundat, Gua Musang MP Tengku Razaleigh Hamzah had proposed that a constitutional court be established to hear rights and legislative issues related to the federal constitution. The chairman of the UMNO Council of Advisors also urged the government to amend the federal constitution to pave the way for such a court to resolve issues such as who were immigrants and who were not. Former DAP Vice President Zulkifli Muhammad Noor has passed away early Monday morning due to a heart attack. The 71-year-old politician breathed his last around 1 a.m. at the Sultan Abdul Halim Hospital in Sungai Petani, Kedah. He leaves behind his wife, 3 children and 5 grandchildren. According to his family, Zulkifli was admitted to the hospital a few days ago for a treatment following heart complications. His body was brought back to his home in Teluk Kumbar, Penang, and later buried at the Gertak Sanggul Muslim Cemetery in the afternoon. As one of the DAP founders, Zulkifli was among the few Malays entrusted with a vice president post in the party. He left DAP in 2013 following his disappointment over the party's controversial election in that year. He also reportedly expressed regret over how Malay leaders and members were treated in the Chinese majority party. A year later, Zulkifli, together with another former DAP member, Rahmat Isaha, formed the People's Alternative Party based in Penang, with the former elected as party president. In February last year, both political leaders left the fledgling party due to an internal crisis. Zulkifli had since retired from politics completely. In Kelantan, a 29-year-old man was drowned after he jumped off the Sultan Yahya Petra Bridge in Kota Baru on Monday. The victim, Ahmad Kamal Idris, said to be suffering from a mental illness, had an argument with his mother in an SUV prior to the 11:50 a.m. incident. His body was found at 6 p.m. Efforts to locate the Finnish tourists who went missing in Tioman Island, Pahang last week intensified on Monday as rescuers looked for fresh leads. The search and rescue operation is now focused around forest and coastal areas frequently visited by tourists and has been expanded to Kampung Mukut. 20-year-old Nikitin Alexis Ellis Valteri was reported missing last Tuesday while he was on his way to the Asaf waterfall in Mukut. The French embassy will send a representative to claim the body of a French man, Maurice Tatarian, 64, who died in a freak accident in Taman Melaka Raya, Melaka on Sunday. State Police Chief Dato' Raja Shahrom Raja Abdullah said the victim's family has been notified, but there is no further details on funeral arrangements yet. Tatarian was killed after he was hit by a car in an accident involving 2 vehicles in front of a self-service laundrette at Jalan Merdeka. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. Mystery behind a weeping petai tree in Kepala Batas, Pulau Pinang has been solved. An expert stated in the report that the water droplets were actually urine or liquid secreted by a swarm of cicadas mating on the tree branches. The liquid, however, has been proven to be harmless. In Sabah, more than 600 flood evacuees in Kota Marudu Kudat have been allowed to return home as water levels in the area receded. Several relief centers have also been closed in stages since Sunday in Kota Belud, Sipitang and Matungong. A total of 2,634 flood victims were placed at 15 relief centers in the district late on Sunday, following continuous rain since Friday. Still to come on Nightline. Scores dead in building collapse. The details next. Welcome back. In Peru, at least 15 people were killed, while more than 30 others were wounded after a hotel wall in Abancay collapsed during a wedding celebration. According to authorities, the wedding celebrations at the hotel had reportedly gathered more than 100 guests, with some 50 people are said to have been close to the wall when it collapsed early Sunday at the Alhambra Hotel. At least 34 people had been pulled from the debris with injuries and were being treated at a nearby hospital. 5 were reported to be in critical conditions. Rescue crews at the moment are still searching through the rubble for survivors. Peruvian authorities suggested a landslide near the hotel following periods of heavy rain may have caused the wall to cave in. Over in Cuba, a rare and powerful tornado has struck Havana, killing at least 3 people and injuring 172 others. According to authorities, the tornado, spawned by a powerful storm that originated in the Gulf of Mexico, hit western Cuba with winds of up to 100 kilometers per hour at about 9 p.m. local time on Sunday, bringing heavy rain and hail. The storm caused citywide power cuts, destroyed buildings, and sent cars flying. Severe damages was also reported. However, the extent of the damage is not yet known. Tornadoes are rare on Cuba, and this was the first twister to hit the capital in decades. Let's take a look at the Lego Works exhibition in San Jose, Costa Rica, America, showcasing 88 structures built with more than 5 million Lego bricks. With that, I'm Nakia Bashiruddin. Thanks for watching. Take care.